am compelled by Schlock.
You can call me Snake. I mean, you can call me Schlock.
Thought you were dead.
I messed that up.
It's all good.
Oh, and I have some notes on here. You weren't supposed to see that.
Oh,
anyway,
man.
I am Darby Ellis Lewis Wilson. This is Chris Anonymous. We are talking Schlock. We are talking about Escape from New York. Chris, I hear you're a very big Escape from New York fan.
Yes.
Is that true?
Escape from New York, Escape from LA. Yeah, I'm a huge Carpenter fan, but yeah, they're in my top 5 Carpenter. Yeah.
So what number film was this in the John Carpenter the films he was making? Like, so he started with Dark Star, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then I'm trying to get the order right.
Went right into Halloween.
I'm not sure.
Or Halloween, The Fog, and then this, I think.
Yeah, and there's one other. It's escaping me. I get it. Escaping.
It's escaping from your brain.
Right. It was Assault on Precinct 13.
That's right. That's it.
Then Halloween. Yeah.
So interestingly enough, this movie was written, I guess, right after Dark Star. It was written in the 70s, kind of in response to Watergate, I guess, which I'm not great on history. Tell me, did Watergate involve sectioning off portions of Manhattan or other larger cities to create a police state?
I wasn't there, so I can't say, but I think
who can say?
So. I think so.
There.
Yeah. I mean, New York in the 80s, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, this movie, it was made in 1981. I believe it says in the show in 1988, Manhattan is sectioned off or crime increases by 400%.
And then this takes place in
1997, which consequently in 1996, a year before, in the real world, the year before this movie is supposed to happen, they came out with a sequel, Escape from LA. And then in 2012, I believe, there was a ripoff movie made called Lockout. At first it was called International Lockout, and then it just got changed to Lockout starring Guy Pearce. And it was such a similar movie that I believe John Carpenter had to sue the creators. I think Luc Besson was one of the writers, had to sue them to I guess, get some money out of it. Because John Carpenter had said many times that if he was going to make a third Escape movie, it would be Escape from the Moon, because there were no other places to escape from. You couldn't do Escape from Tokyo or Escape from Dubai. It had to be Escape from the Moon. And this movie, Lockout, takes place in outer space on a space station, a prison space station, where a guy not named Snake, but named Snow, who is also some sort of ex-military, has to go in. Yeah. Well,
what about Escape from Atlantis? You have to fight off mermaids.
I think that would be awesome.
Right. I'm just saying. I mean,
that's what I love about this. We come up with so many great ideas in here.
Yeah. So the moon is not the only place you can escape from. There's Atlantis. Come on, people. There's
escape from under the sea. Right? So this movie, maybe we can do this, because this movie only costs about $6 million, and it made over $25 million.
That's
and
impressive.
I think the budget is incredibly impressive
With what they did and what's on screen. Yeah, that in that time, that's super. Yeah, super. Impressive.
What I just watched was Barbarian, which hopefully we'll have a solo review of that coming out soon. But that movie cost $4 million to make, and it basically takes place inside of a house, whereas this $2 million more, they create New York and they do all of these wild special effects.
Yep.
And that just blows me away.
Yeah.
So yeah, this movie, it's beloved. It's a cult classic. You can find all sorts of commentary and tidbits and factoids about it. So I don't think we're really going to go into that too much. I will say, I will throw out one factoid that it did have a unfortunate name in Germany. It was called Die Klapperschlange. So I think Schlong means snake, which is why that's funny. So anyway, what this show is we watch these silly movies, these schlocky movies, and we like to talk about what's good and what's bad about them. And then we like to talk the schlock. What are these movies about? Like, what are the big ideas behind them? And these are generally for people that have seen the movies, because we will spoil
everything.
And you know what? I'm going to spoil. I can tell you right now, I'm going to spoil Escape from LA as well. So
yeah,
if you haven't seen them, who cares? Just keep watching.
Yeah. We don't know what we're going to spoil.
Like, comment, subscribe, and do all of that stuff. So real quick, I want to get into the web of schlock, but I literally just remembered this right before we went live.
Mm-hmm.
In 2008, I attended the Focus on the Family Institute. And for those who don't know what that is or know who that organization is, Focus on the Family, very conservative Christian organization. And Halloween came up, and I dressed as Snake Plissken for Halloween. And
nice.
Nobody had any clue who I was. They asked me, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Snake Plissken." They're like, "Who?"
And so none of them said they thought you were dead?
Nope. No one got it. It was great. Anyway, maybe we can find some other people who know who Snake Plissken is in the web of schlock.
All right, so we're gonna rapid fire through this, because again, you can find out all these actors. It's just classic with how many actors are in it, and people behind the scenes. So Carpenter, it was co-written with Nick Castle, who was Michael Myers in the first Halloween, and he went on to be a writer and director of movies as well. Sounds like he saved this movie in a way. He added the comedy to make it so that it could essentially get made. Yeah. And then let's get on to the actors. There's Kurt Russell, Lee Van Cleef from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Donald Pleasance, also from Halloween, Isaac Hayes, Harry Dean Stanton, just so many. I'd like to give a shout out to Frank Doubleday. He played Romero. He looks so much like Steve Buscemi. When he first came to screen, I'm like, I don't remember Buscemi being in this, and then he got close, and I'm like, oh, that's not him. But that's a good alternate casting. Yeah. Just so many, but I'd like to bring up Cabby, Ernest Borgnine. Love this actor. Love the character Cabby. Marty, the Poseidon Adventures. Just a great actor in so many things, and just a fun guy. He passed away in 2012 at the ripe age of 95. But if you can, you should look on YouTube for his secret to old age. And I won't spoil it because it's probably not appropriate, but it is hilarious, and you will love him even more. But just he's character funny, actor. Man. He is so good. He's so funny. He's got one of those presents that they light up the screen. I don't know if it's his delivery or his smile or like there's a joy behind his eyes that's
it's
just
his eyebrows.
contagious and fun to watch, and the caterpillar eyebrows. Yeah, for sure. But I mean, the web of Schlock is so huge in this because there's so many great actors who have went on to do great things before and after, and it's kind of like your factoids, where it's been done to death. So let's move on.
Awesome. Well, I'll start with my good and my bad, because super easy transition. My number one good is the cast. I mean, obviously, so we won't dwell on that too much. But then I'll go into the crazy cast of characters. I think that there aren't a lot of characters in this, but the ones that are, I think, are very memorable. They make their mark in the movie, right? We get Cabby. He's got his very distinct look. We get Romero. Is that his name? Steve Buscemi, Troll Man.
Yeah. He looks like a troll doll. Yeah.
I mean, just as soon as they get into New York, and he's kind of like the first person you see, I'm just like, yes, this is weird city
for me.
And I also have like a picture of the Duke's car, just because in addition to the crazy characters, right there's just a look, the correct look that I don't know if it was going around at this time yet. Like I don't know how popular post-apocalyptic stuff was at this time, where they like take this idea of something and sort of refurbishing it for sort of new society and the new world order. So I just love this idea of like this car with like these chandelier headlight type things.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's one of my favorite things in the movie.
And obviously I love Snake Plissken. Like I love that character. And it's kind of a shame that there isn't just more Snake Plissken in the world. Like it could definitely be overdone, but man, that is a great character. And I could have done, 2 or 3 more movies than what we have already. So my last good, I call the unceremonious death. And this kind of goes into bad a little bit, but I did love this part where he meets the woman, one of the only women in New York, and like they're getting ready to kiss. She's getting ready to talk him into taking her out of there. Like we think like maybe this is going to be the love interest of the story, and she just immediately, like so fast, like this picture is blurry because it's so fast. It was hard to get a screenshot of it. She just gets sucked underground by what are they, like the underground rat people? Or
I can't remember what they called them. It was something they had that. A name. The creepers or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, or the crazies. I think it was the crazies. The crazies. But yeah, she just gets pulled underground and is gone. And I think that sets such a good tone to the movie. Great tone. Like everybody's life is on the line in a way.
Fun fact, that was his wife in real life at the time.
Yeah. Season? Is that her name?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Season's greetings, I guess. But so that does kind of dovetail right into bad for me, because like the unceremonious death I didn't like for Cabby. Just that, I don't know, he's just kind of this guy caught up in it, and he gets blown up, and they look at him, and then Maggie, is that her name? She just kind of gives up at the end, but to help them get through. I don't know. I honestly, if I'm going to be completely honest, I don't know how huge of a fan I am of this movie.
Really? Wow.
I see your eyes dying, but
no, it's all good.
Everything that I like about this movie, I feel like is just not enough. And I think Escape from LA, while it's a total cheesy, campy, schlocky movie, like I think it delivers on all of that buttons. Stuff tenfold. Wow. Like, wow. So one, right, we get to see these weird, crazy characters in this weird, crazy society, but there's just not enough of it. So like like pointing out with I think she's a hooker. I think that's who that lady was that got sucked under the floorboards. Like, where are the women? Where are all of the people, right? If crime rose 400%, that means there's a ton of people committing crime. If there's so much crime that they have to section off Manhattan Island, I would expect to see this place heavily populated. And instead, it looks more like a prison. And we see that with the dancing men when he arrives and he goes into the theater. He first meets Cabby, and we have kind of like the weird drag show thing going on where they're like singing new lyrics and they're dancing around. I think we have a shot of that. But it goes to show, like, I think that was in there specifically to say, hey, there's not a lot of women in this world. This is more like a prison that you would recognize today. Whereas when we get into Escape from LA, I mean, there's just people all around, right? And they're more well represented as something that could be its own new legitimate society. Also, something that I thought was kind of bad, and honestly, I don't know if this is bad or if it was just an attempt at gritty writing, but I feel like the people in this movie like weren't all they were cracked up to be. Like, so Snake, so is supposed to be like very badass, and he goes to rescue the president, and he just gets very unceremoniously shot in the leg, and he's got a limp for the rest of the time, which I think is fine, but to me it seemed like kind of anticlimactic. The idea with Brain, right? He's supposed to be very smart. He's supposed to have this map of the bombs on the bridge, but clearly it's like not a very good map because they keep running into the bombs. And then there's the one scene where they return to the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center, because Brain and Maggie are going to steal the glider. And Snake, he gets there, they're already there, and they're already in like this kind of back and forth gunfight, and it just feels like some things are really cut out. And so, like I said, I don't know, like, is that kind of from underdeveloped writing where they didn't sort of think those things out, or is it supposed to show that, hey, there's things going on here, people aren't reliable, everything's not what it seems?
I think it's that, but we can agree to disagree.
I mean, I don't know. I'll throw it out there. And my number one bad, and this is honestly, so this is the first time I've seen the movie beginning to end straight through, because honestly, I fall asleep every time I start to watch it. So I've only seen it in parts and pieces. The sound design. I do not like the sound design of this movie. Love a John Carpenter score, but I think it's too thin and too sparse. And then some of the other sound design elements really kind of took me out of it. So that's my biggest gripe with the movie is mostly the soundtrack, but maybe the sound design as a whole as well. So
okay.
That's it. Hit me with what you got. Refute me in every way.
Man, I mean, there's no point to refute you. I mean, good. I love this movie. There's so much. It's funny. There's so many little comic bits in it, and a lot of stuff on when you watch it again and again, like when he's walking in the prison the first time down the hallways, and over the intercom they're like, and if you can choose to be cremated, and if so, go to here and identify that. It's just little things like that are hilarious. The schlocky concept. I have the music. I love the music in this. some of like the kind of some of the music cues feel a little dated, but the John Carpenter score itself I really like. The character design, the cast, the costumes, the set design, the fact that they did this on that budget, it feels like you're in a dystopian New York prison. I like that the characters are kind of dubious and that they're not everything they're saying they are. I think the fact that like Brain's map isn't correct, I think that's obvious, because if it was correct, people would have got it a long time ago. I think that someone drew a map that's like maybe kind of correct or maybe not at all. And it's just pipe dream. Like, I got this map, so one of these days we're going to do it. It's a sliver of hope in a hopeless situation. You talk about not tons of people. It was 1988 when the crime rate rose 400%. This is now 1997. So 9 years later, I'm guessing that a lot of the people, I'm guessing the crime rate outside has went down a lot because of this prison system. And I'm thinking that in 88, this was insanely populated. But 9 years later, I think a lot of people are dead. I think a lot of people are hiding. I think a lot of women
the underground
are hiding.
People.
Yep. I think a lot of women are hiding or have been killed. People are hiding underground. It's night. He's in these dangerous territories where many characters have said, you don't go here out at night. In fact, Season's character said, I got caught here in the dark, so now I got to wait until morning to go out. So I think there are places and times of day where there are tons of people. I think that this story takes place in a small section of New York, and that at night in a dangerous area, which is not heavily populated. I can
get on board with that.
There's so many great things. The bad, really don't have any. I'm not going to disagree with really anything you said, more than what I've just kind of like gave you a counter argument to. It's a long setup, but I like that in a movie. So, I mean, that could be a fault. Like, you see Snake arrive, but other than that, he's not there in Act 1. Right. So it's a long haul movie. It's a very slow paced movie, but it feels on purpose. And then, just all the schlockiness. So, I mean, it's hard. Oh, the visual aesthetic. So you were talking that you didn't like the sound design. I loved the visual aesthetic. So if we do pull up Mean Street, Green Street, the lighting and the color choices, and then just the atmosphere of not having very many people, and the set design here, just that green hue. It's just, it puts you in a mood. It feels so immersive. This green that he uses throughout the film, and I love it. Like, I could just look at this all day.
Yeah, I would agree. This is something that definitely caught my eye, and I thought that was like such an interesting choice and built the atmosphere very well.
So I'd have to watch it again with sound cues in mind to talk to you about that. So you might be right, and well, you're right. The fact that you don't like it, but I mean, that's my last good is the visual, is the green, man. Love the green. So let's get into Schlock.
Well, so going into Schlock, I think your defense is really good. Saying like, where are all the people? Well, the movie gives you enough information to sort of suss that out if you'd like, and we've talked about that idea before. What information are movies required to give us to figure out what's going on, to do their world building. We
were talking about that in Barbarian.
Yeah, exactly. And so I gotta give it to you there. And I think for me, so I saw Escape from LA first, and I was
okay.
I was in like 6th or 7th grade when that came out, and so I was all about that movie for a little while.
Yes.
So going into Escape from New York, I expected it to be like that, just in a different city.
Right. Okay. So I'll be honest with you, since you were honest with me. I didn't love Escape from New York the first time I saw it. I didn't, because I saw Escape from LA first. And the speed of that movie and the energy of that movie and the craziness, it's Escape from New York on drugs times 10,
Right.
you know?
Right.
And so the first time I saw Escape from New York, I'm like, it's not Escape from LA.
Yeah.
But there were still things I liked in it. And then, you know, I've seen this 5 or 6 times. And each time I love it more and I appreciate it more because it's its own thing.
Yeah.
So once I gave up the idea that it's not the Escape from LA one.
If you accept that it's a different movie.
Yeah.
So like coming off of Escape from LA, the beginning of New York, when I hear things like we think that they've developed steam technology and retrofitted their vehicles for that, or they say something along those lines, I'm sitting there thinking like, okay, we're going to have some sort of crazy like urban steampunk action going on. And that doesn't happen, again, because it's I think you said it well, it's sort of the dubious nature of information in this movie. Something I really want to get into, I don't really have a question with this. It's just something that struck me in the movie, and I really have to point out. This movie is about an hour's worth of Kurt Russell walking around an abandoned city in Lululemon leggings. It took me a second because
it like it's a bad thing.
Well, hey, I didn't say that I didn't enjoy it, but this is one of the only shots of his butt I could get. But as I was watching, I was looking at it, I was like, man, those army fatigues are really tight. And then I was like, looking at him closer, I was like, wait a minute. They seem really stretchy with his movement. Those are leggings. My man is wearing leggings in the post-apocalypse. And so I just got to point that out. Like it cracked me up the entire time.
I mean, freedom of movement. I would, if I were in a post-apocalyptic world, I'd be wearing leggings. Who's to say I'm not wearing leggings right now?
Oh, I'm wearing them.
Who's to say we're not in a post-apocalyptic world right now?
Yeah, it's certainly a cyberpunk dystopia.
Yeah. Let's pull up the nail bat fight. Another thing.
Let's do it.
I mean, just this concept, the whole movie is pure schlock. Like it's definitive schlock, the concept. Like, I mean, this just wouldn't happen. You're not gonna. But then you have fun little things like this, like, okay, let's have them fight. Let's have an arena. Let's have them have bats. Let's have nails in the bats.
I think this is one of the more believable elements of it.
It is one of the believable ones, but it's still so schlocky.
It's the Colosseum. It's the gladiatorial combat.
Right. And I love it. Like, this is one of my favorite bits. I mean, anytime a movie has a nail bat fight,
it just immediately bumps the whole thing up.
Plus, it's Kurt Russell, young and ripped, with a snake tattoo and an eye patch. The eye patch, man. We haven't even talked about that. Like this, I think this probably is one of the movies that set the tone for post-apocalyptic worlds. I mean, obviously, Mad Max did. Well,
yeah, definitely.
But I mean, it just set the bar.
The eye patch. So again, Escape from LA. When that came out, I remember something that was like kind of controversial that made it to like the Christian moms radio stations, was that Kurt Russell said that his eye patch was made of women's underwear.
Oh man!
So there's another tidbit for you.
Man, it's funny the things that like.
He probably doesn't even need it.
Yeah, the urban legends of worried moms in the 90s is just a very schlocky, interesting thing in and of itself. Yeah, there's just so much. The chandeliers, you brought that up. That is such a great touch. like the set design and the costumes, everything is just so. Each character feels like a book.
Yeah, they all have their own background. They all have their own
but
story.
they all fit, and it doesn't feel like they're just trying to make a character weird for the sake of being a weird. It made me feel like, no, these characters have lived in this world, and they just grew weirder over the years because that's what happens.
That they live in a crazy society, so they are themselves crazy. So we're running out of time. I want to give you the last thought because I gotta make sure that the movie that I want to watch for the next time is still going to be up on Tubi. I'm not entirely sure. You see, we try and make sure all of our movies are on Tubi. That way you guys can watch them too, because we really do want you to join in this discussion and tell us your thoughts too, and explore these ideas with us. Escape from New York, I think, might be going off of Tubi.
Yeah, which
soon,
when I picked it didn't say
not.
that. It's going off in like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, okay, it'll be back on. I mean, it's all cyclical.
Yeah. Time is a circle, man.
And who knows when you, in the future, person watching this is watching this in the future. So who knows what's streaming where?
So I think it's time. Well, let me give you the last thought on this movie really quick. I want you to send us off really well.
Oh, pressure's on.
Yeah.
Okay. What? We'll you don't have a question or anything. I thought you were like
just final thought.
I'm waiting for you to like give me some like thought-provoking question.
Okay. I'll give you one. National. I think they're called the National Liberation Front. They're the ones who captured the plane. The rebels who captured the plane and landed it. So are they working with the Duke? And are they the bad guys in Escape from LA? Because I know that it's kind of like a Castro character who's the main bad guy in that.
I haven't seen LA
Revolutionary.
For probably 5 or 6 years, so I can't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me. I don't think they're working with the Duke. I think it's a symbolic gesture of this prison system is a blot on the society, the totalitarian society they're living in. And so I think they want to put the president in that as not only to hurt him, but also as a symbolic gesture of, taste his own medicine. Right.
Yeah.
Again, there's lots of heavy-handed thought in a lot of Carpenter films, and that's not a bad thing. It feels like he's trying to say something and still do it in a fun way. So again, there's something in every Carpenter movie to love, and there's some that are just pure genius. And yeah, that's my final take. It's Carpenter. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. And what are we watching this week?
So next week, I would like to return to something that we started
2 weeks. Sorry, 2 weeks.
I think nearly 2 weeks ago, a fortnight. Something that we started nearly a year ago. It's now on Tubi and available to watch.
What is it?
Master of Puppets Part 2.
Yeah, finally.
Catch it for free on Tubi. I think it's going to be nuts. I've never seen it. Looking forward to it. I'm Darby Ellis Lewis Wilson. This is Chris Anonymous, and we have been compelled by Schlock. See you later, guys.